Welcome back to the channel again. Welcome back to another video. And this is your match review after we saw what happened at the bridge. I think to get the positives out the way, I think we definitely did compete. We didn't look um incompetent, but then again, I want to use that word lightly because for large parts of that game, we were very toothless. The attack was not really um, the attack really wasn't on point. I mean, Jackson had a few chances, and that offside goal. Like for me, I would expect him to be looking across the line to make sure that if there was any rebound, anything potentially like that, goalkeeper spills it like you did, you're in a position to capitalize. He did that, but he was offside. Um, but I've seen people actually talk about this game like we absolutely did nothing. And look, at the end of the day, this is a Man City team that, regardless of who's playing or who's not playing, they are still the best team in England. And this is not to make any excuses. This isn't to try to shy away from the fact that the result wasn't great. The result definitely wasn't great. But again, this, this is one of those performances that you can build on it, you can move forward. Hopefully by Thursday and the next time we play again, you want to see certain improvements. Again, the starting 11, I liked it. I had no issues with it because when you play against Man City, you absolutely want to make sure that the midfield battle, you win that. You make sure you're not exposed. You make sure that you have enough cover. Now, I think Savio had. I think more people are kind of looking more at the performance and saying, Man City was playing in second gear, and as sure as that might be, you have to also kind of give the team a bit of credit because if we just came in not prepared, we just came in lackadaisical, we just came in not ready to compete, I think this game would have been a lot worse. And look, we didn't get any points out of this. We lost comfortably. It is what it is. But all I can say is before this game, a ball was kicked. No one really expected Chelsea to get a result. And again, the game is over. I really don't see a reason why there should be that much outrage. Yes, we can be very disappointed in the fact that we didn't create a lot. It didn't feel like we created enough options for the forward players. Some of our big game players were not up to it. Cole Palmer was not in the game today. He was very non-existent. He almost looked tired, in my opinion. And for me, I was like, when I was doing my watch along, I was saying, get him off. Like 70 minutes in, I would have gotten him on. I would have brought in Noni, give us another, option, give us another um, dimension on that pitch because Palmer really, Palmer created a few chances, yes, here and there, but his whole gameplay was poor. Enzo Fernandez, I think he is out of all the midfielders today. I think he was one that for me had an underwhelming performance, but it wasn't like a shit performance all around. I just didn't think he he imposed himself too much. I don't feel like he imposed himself too much in this game. Lavia was great. I thank God every day that we signed this kid over Liverpool, only because guarantee I think Liverpool had a player like a Lavia, they had a Caicedo. I think they do well. But coming back to this game, again, the outrage was why was Sterling not in this game? Why was he not playing? Look, you have a big team, you have a big squad. You want your manager to make decisions. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Some people are gonna miss out and some people are gonna play. I predicted Sterling to start in this game anyway, so I did not see him not even being in the squad at all. But you have to respect it. The manager made his decision. He came out and said it was tactical. We have to see if again, if in the next game Sterling does not feature, is not on the bench, then you could say, okay, maybe there's something going on. And there might be something going on. But guess what? You move. You want to build a team where if certain people are left out, whoever you have coming in can replace whoever's not here. It's just that simple. So I think first game of the season, I definitely would have wanted it to be something like a Man City. Something like a Man City was not it for me. I would have preferred to have one of those smaller games, and no disrespect by that, because I think it just kind of gives you the ability to kind of know where you're at, see where you could be. But then again, this was a good test. Now it definitely lets us know what we can work on. Now the city result wouldn't really be the staple. It wouldn't be this is how our season is going to go. Because we can come back from this, we can win a few games on the bounce, we can have some momentum going into other games, and then we'll be fine. But one of the biggest things for me, I think it's been evident, and people say this all the time. The owners have spent a lot of money, but we don't have a true number nine. And I'm always going to say that. I think we still have a good enough squad to get good results. I think we have a good squad to compete, but we need someone who is clinical. We need someone who can get one chance, one goal, keep you in the game. One chance, one goal equalizes for you. And Jackson again. Jackson is one of those guys. Like he does things where you're just kind of like, wow, like that's a player. And then he does other things where it's just like, yo, what are you doing? It's so polarizing, and not for the better of the team currently, because a few chances he had today, he definitely could have did well. He could have definitely been more clinical, but that's been the problem with Jackson since he's been here. He scored 17 goals, all comps, but guess what? He could have definitely did more. He could have had more goals, more assists, and it just looks like he just continued the same thing from last season into this season. Like it doesn't look like there's been any clear improvement. That chance that he had, even though it was offside, he took 6,000 years to decide what he was going to do. In Kunku, same thing. Gets a chance, cuts in, takes so long to decide what he wants to do. Like you need to have conviction in what you're doing. You're playing against Man City. These chances are going to come very few, and they're going to be far few often. You get that one chance, you make that shit count. You can't be going against Man City just blowing all these chances and expecting to get anything out of this game. Like it was just frustrating to watch. And I'm not even going to talk about the ref because it doesn't add anything to the conversation. Anthony Taylor, we already know his history. Was that a pen with Kovacic? When I was watching the game, I thought it was. But then when you look back at it, look, when you go to close down someone, you're going to move in a certain way where your hands are always going to be somewhat not close to your body. So with that decision, I get it. I initially I was like, that's a pen. But after watching it, I was like, you know what? That's not really a pen. It's kind of like a natural movement of the body. So I get it. But we need to be clinical. You saw how Bowley left that game. If he didn't leave to go work on some serious number nines, yeah, we're kind of I don't know. I still tip us to have a good season, but I need these guys to like have an understanding of what they want to do before they get the ball. Because again, Jackson, for example, he had the amount of times he could have just done more, more with that opportunity, and he just fluffed it. And it's so annoying because we saw this, game in, game out, game in, game out. Enzo Fernandez. Look, he should have been off the pitch the minute the second half started for me. He should have been off of it. Like, yeah, you didn't really have an awful, awful game, but you weren't really adding much to this team. I would have taken Enzo off instead of Lavia, but I can understand why he takes Lavia off. He hasn't played for a whole year. Lavia and Kunku, I can understand you not trying to like overplay these guys. It's game week 1. We're still gonna need these guys up to game week 38. So I'm not even mad that you decided to take these guys off, but take Enzo off immediately. Enzo really wasn't adding much to the game. Take him off, bring Madueke in, push Palmer more centrally, and just play. Like I think, and on honesty too, I think the result kind of flattered Man City. I think the scoreline flattered City because for the most part, we were in the game. City still had a strong team out there. Okay, Diaz, Gvardiol, like these are strong players. Okay, De Bruyne, Kovacic, Rico Lewis, Haaland. That's a strong team. So I'm not even going to take away from the fact that it wasn't their complete team. We all know Man City, anybody comes in, you can make a difference. So it don't really matter. That's a strong enough team for Man City to put out. They've been winning leagues with these guys. So we're not going to act like these guys are scrubs. That's a strong team. They came, you know, and again, the game was pretty close. We kept it close, but it wasn't like it annoyed me. You know what I mean? Like it annoyed me. And also Kovacic, like, yo, you played for Chelsea for years. And I know once in a while, like he scored some screamers, he scored some bangers. But never do you be scoring those type of goals when you wore our colors. Like, what were you on, bro? Like just straight bang, left corner. Like, what are you doing? You know? Like, yo, when that goal went in, I was just kind of like, all right, this is just how it's gonna be. Because you played for Chelsea for so long, like I said, a decent amount of goals, maybe like 10, if so much, right? And then you put in these in the top corners at Stamford Bridge. What? But anyway, we digress. Um, player ratings. Sanchez, look, I think he made a few good saves in this game, but again, Sanchez continues to show me that he's not good with the ball at his feet. Like he really isn't. Um, Sanchez ain't that guy, you know. Sanchez ain't that guy. So for me, I think we have to see what Jorgensen is about. We have to see what Jorgensen is about. I think one second. I think we need to see what Jorgensen is about. Next game, I think he starts maybe on Thursday, and then into the Wolves game, we'll see Jorgensen can do. But again, Sanchez for me, yeah, he ain't the guy, man. He kept playing the ball out of play, throw-ins. Look, I'm sorry, we can improve, and for having 9 goalies in this squad, like uh, it was about time we just got one right. I understand their signings are being made for the future. Your Pendes, Sloninas, Petrovic again. I thought Petrovic had a decent season for us. Now, yeah, he's not good with his feet, but clearly neither is Sanchez. And Petrovic is a much better shot stopper. So he should be playing ahead of Sanchez for me, plain and simple. Now you've bought in Jorgensen. I think, yeah, you're probably going to give him an opportunity to just get acclimatized to the team, understand what you want to do before you throw him in at the deep end. But I don't, you know what? I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. I just don't see it being any worse than Sanchez. Sanchez in this game for me gets a 5. That's about it. Nothing spectacular, nothing crazy to write home about. He could have definitely done a lot better with that goal from Kova. But again, I can't really blame the goalie because Kova just lined that up and he just, put it in the far post. You can't really do much to it. You got a hand to it, yeah. Should he have done better? Potentially, but I'm not going to blame Sanchez for that. But I'll give him a 5. Now, our fullbacks, Savio and Doku. Savio, especially at some points in that game, he was just doing certain things to Cucurella that I was ashamed to even see. He had him going inside, outside, pause, just turning him in, out, and out. It was kind of like, yo, what happened to Michael Cucurella? Like, again, I always rated Cucurella. I'm always gonna rate him. Yeah, he has his moments where he can, you know, lose, the concentration, but I think he's still a front foot defender aggressive in the tackle. When he won the ball back a lot during this game, intercepted the ball back. So I'm not even gonna crush it on Cucurella, but the way Savio was moving to Cucurella was it was disgusting to watch. Like he had Cucurella just on strings. Doku, on the other hand, had Gusto. Look, I rate Gusto highly. Yeah, I think Gusto is one of the best fullbacks we have in this league, hands down. But the things Doku was doing to Gusto at some points, I was embarrassed. But again, Gusto wasn't really getting the help from his wingers, and neither was Cucurella, to be fair. But it's like, damn, Doku on one hand was cooking us. Savio on the other hand was cooking us. I'm like, yo, what's good? Last year when we played them both times, yo, Doku couldn't get a sniff off that ball. Like Gusto had Doku in his pocket the whole time. But this game, Doku was just look. Our fullbacks today weren't great. If I had to give Gusto a rating, I'd probably give Gusto I was gonna say a 4, but I think that might be a little too low. Maybe I'll give Gusto a 5. But Gusto also annoyed me in that position where he had that ball to whip it in first time. He took way too many touches. The minute he got played in, he should have played that ball all across. I think it was Jackson that was going at the far post. Gusto took so many touches. He took too much time and he just ruined the play for me, yo. Like once he had that ball, like I said, Reece James would have whipped that ball in. He definitely would have played that pass first time. Gusto, a few times he had the chance to put in the cross, took too long on the ball. Defending, he was very suspect defending. Like today was just a bad day. Gusto for me gets a 5. I think he still won a few fair tackles, but he was just getting manhandled too much for my liking. So a 5. Cucurella, I'll give him another 5 maybe, but more so Gusto and Cucurella, their 5s are more like the low 5s. I just don't think they were great today. And that's it. Colwell, Fofana, you know, again, the goal we conceded from Holland. Can Colwell have done more? Sure. Can Cucurella have done more? Absolutely. Because I think, especially in Cucurella's position, I know maybe trying to like nudge the player in the back was might be borderline, again, it's Anthony Taylor, so you never know. But they could have done a lot better. I think they just gave Howland too much time to control that ball and to dink it over the goalie. Like just, shoulder barge him a bit, just put him off that shot. But they did it. And he chipped it 1-0. Now there was an incident where Savio pushed Enzo Fernandez in that box without even getting the ball. And that was nothing came off that. Now, I'm not even trying to say that should have been a foul. It should have been a penalty. But I'm sure you can't just go around just barging people off the ball. Like, it makes no sense. You clearly make no attempt to play the ball and you just push the man over. How that was not even considered is beyond me. But back to Fofana and Colwell. Fofana didn't really do too many things wrong. He just had an okay game. Like he didn't do too many things wrong. He didn't do anything special. It was just, decent game, keep it moving. I give Fofana a 6. Colwell, again, he definitely should have done better with that. That Holland chance. Like I think Colwell should have been a lot stronger in that challenge, but he wasn't. Holland scores, but for the most part, he didn't really do anything wrong either. I think our center back pairing just had an okay game. So I think for both of them, I'll give them a 6. And yeah, nothing crazy to report. When we go to the midfield, Lavia. You know, when he played for Southampton, right? And once in a while I was able to like catch some of their games. You see, okay, you know what? There's a player in there, right? He wore that number 45 for Southampton. You watch him have some big performances against Chelsea, against Arsenal, big teams. Lavia was dominating, right? Southampton got relegated. Cool. You can't really blame that on Lavia. So when Liverpool were interested in signing him, I always kind of felt like, damn, that's going to be a big problem for the league because Lavia is a six that's comfortable in possession. He can break up play, he can pass the ball forward, press resistant, and he's still yet to hit that age of his development where he's like that dominant. But I always looked at Lavia and I went, yeah, that's a player. So when we got him, I was excited. Okay, I think him not being able to have performances for us last year was not the best because I think we just missed a lot of his ability. And you notice in this game once Lavia went off, that midfield just kind of started falling apart. Man City kept playing through us more. When Lavia was present, yeah, they had that one goal, but everything else was kind of in front of the defense. There wasn't really that much going on. And if there was, he was always well placed, positionally right to win the ball back. Those cutbacks, he read all those cutbacks, got the ball, passed it forward. I mean, Lavia was having a great game. He came off. We lost a little bit of that midfield stability. Man City went ahead, got the second goal. Cool. But he is going to have a big season. I'm predicting he's going to have a stellar season when he stays fit. Because if it's just trying to hope for the best, right? When Lavia plays, Lavia is going to be a big deal for us. So for him today, I think I'll give him like a 7.5. We lost that game, but guess what? Lavia was great. He had a good game. Nothing bad to say about the guy. I'm just happy he plays for my club. Caicedo. Didn't really see much of Caicedo. And that's the honest truth. I really did not see much. I don't think he had a bad game. I just didn't see enough to say, you know what, you were balling out today. But he didn't have like a terrible game by any imagination, any stretch of the imagination. He had an okay game. He kept it simple. He kept it moving. I feel like he could have definitely imposed himself more in that midfield because having Kova and Rico Lewis just doing what they do, kind of, for our midfield three to not really like impose themselves in that midfield battle kind of annoyed me. But again, you know what? It's calm. First game of the season. Caicedo barely had a preseason. Same like last year. He didn't really have a preseason with the team. And I'm not saying that's an excuse because you've played Copa America for Ecuador. So having a few weeks off should not make you that lethargic. You should still be somewhat, sharp. Like I get it, you have a little vacation, cool. You might be a little rusty, but again, standard performance. I give him a 5. I didn't really see anything crazy. Fernandez, I give Fernandez a 4. A few, nice switches of play, a few that ball. You know what? It was Fernandez that played that ball to Gusto, and Gusto just took too long on that. He just too many touches. First touch controlled that ball. Second touch move it a bit forward, and the third should have been playing that ball across. So Fernandez, you know what? I'll give him a 5 because I said a 4, but I'll give him a 5 only because I remember 2 chances he created. The one he created damn near for Pedro Neto at the end. Um, like again, he lost the ball a good amount of times, give the ball away, sloppy passing. But you're the captain of this team. And I'm not even going to go down into the whole captaincy because I just think it's just not. Enzo should not be captain in this team. If you want to give the captain to someone, give it to a Levi Colwell. You don't want to give it to a Levi Colwell, give it to a Wesley Fofana. You know, you don't want to give it to a Wesley Fofana. Hell, I don't know. Give it to the goalie. I just don't think Enzo should be the captain of this team. And I think that's probably why he's going to play a good amount of games when Reece James is not available. But again, he made too many sloppy passes, didn't really do much, barred the 2 chances created. I think, again, he should have been someone who should have grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck and dictated play. Also, I noticed he was kind of pressing, a lot forward. And again, that's not his game. Like we were all told when Maresca was coming in that you look how Harry Winks was used. He was a guy who had more touches of the ball. We expected and speculated that was going to be Fernandez's role, but it's not looking like that. It's looking like Lavia is going to be the 6, and Enzo is either going to have to play like a right-sided 8/10 or whatever that position is, and I don't think he's effective in that role. We did say when Potch was playing some of these guys in certain positions, we were not okay with it. Caveat though is that you know what? This is match week 1, game day 1. Okay, cool. We'll see what else you have in store for us. If that shit doesn't change, then we understand. Yeah, we got to get on to you. But Enzo 5, nothing. Cole Palmer 4, and it hurts me to say because Cole is like he's a key, he's a key cog in this team. He is our linchpin, he's our talisman, he's everything. But he just didn't look sharp. He looked lethargic, he looked tired, he didn't look involved, he didn't look interested for me. Um, and that's okay. You're gonna have some of these games, but that's when the coach has to say, okay, you know what, you're not playing well today. You're not playing well today. I'm gonna take somebody out. I fully expected, and I was hoping to see Madueke play some parts of this game at some point because Palmer just didn't have it going. So why not bring Madueke in, give him an opportunity to run at that defense and see what he can create? In preseason, Madueke has arguably been our best attacker in preseason. So him not even coming on for me kind of shocked me. I did not really see why he shouldn't have, came on into that game because it kind of looked like we needed some injection of pace. Like if you brought in Noni and then you had Neto on the other flank, now you have pace on the wings. You can push City all the way back and let these guys take their man on 1v1. That's why I would have brought Noni in because Palmer didn't have it going. Take him out, bring somebody else in. Palmer today, he gets a 4. And Kunku gets another 4. That opportunity he had, and he just took 16,000 years to decide what he was going to do. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, Nkunku really couldn't even take on Rico, what's his name? Rico Williams? Like, what? How are you not taking this? Nkunku should have been having this guy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, he should have been, every chance he had, he should have been running at Rico. He should have been running at him. And for some reason, he just never did. Like, and I think Nkunku is a very intelligent enough player. He's skillful enough, talented enough to be able to beat a man. Like, okay, yeah, in this team today, you are being played out on the wings, but so what? You have enough quality to beat a man. So why can't you just do that to Rico Lewis? I said Rico Williams, Rico Lewis. Why couldn't you do that to him? You should have been able to beat Rico Williams almost. Out of 10 times, you should have been winning those duels at least 7 out of 10 times. Like, that's how good you are. And he just took mad long to make his decisions. He took too long to decide what he was going to do. Fluffed his chance. He gets a 4. And then we go to Nico Jackson. I mean, we need a striker. Like, I'm sorry. This Jackson experiment, I like the guy. I think he adds some quality to the team. But I think Jackson should not be our starting striker. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's good enough. I think he is good, just not good enough to warrant that position. I think we need somebody more clinical, someone who's more decisive, someone who is just ready. Jackson does not look ready for that. Okay. Jackson is going to have his games where, everything he does just comes off. But the consistency is not enough for me. I think Jackson needs to come out of this team. Jackson needs to essentially hold bench for a bit. Because last year, yes, we had Broja, but for the most part, it was just Jackson. The games Jackson didn't play. Potch played Palmer as a false 9. It didn't work. So Nkunku as a false 9. It didn't work. Jackson plays that role well. He does everything well up until the final third. Once he's in the box, he loses every ounce of composure. Decision making is dreadful. Okay. Jackson for me today gets a 2. That's how bad it was. Like, you just didn't do much. When you play against Man City, you're going to have a few chances, and that's about it. but you didn't really do much with the opportunity. So for me, I just think, look, I'm hoping when what's his name when the Matt with the owner, I'm hoping when Bowley left, he was going to make certain calls because we definitely need upgrades to this team. Now Pedro Neto came on. Neto, I will give him. I'll give him an NA. I don't think he had enough time to really make an impact. He had a few good crosses, but again, didn't really create much. And I just think, you know what, we need a striker. That I think that's what we need. We need a striker. We need someone who's gonna just put away these chances. One chance, one goal, 3 points, 1 point. That's the difference between competing for the league, competing in certain games, trophies, championships, top four, top five, top six. That's just what it is. So I think the sporting directors they need to see what we can do. And it's kind of bad that we have to keep talking about signings after we've made damn near 50. To keep talking about signings even after we've made so many, it's just that just shows that we haven't really always spent money wisely. But I can try to understand and see what the idea is. It's just the execution. Like Hussam will say, the execution is not great. But I still believe that top four because that's the expectation. And this never used to be us. We always expected to win the league. We expected to compete. That was a minimum. We expected to do things. But the reality is, this ain't that era. Okay, that era we had, it's gone. This is a new era. Your expectations have to be, aligned. Your expectations have to be looked at. You can't just be expecting what we used to have some 6 years ago till now. You can have the expectation, but you have to understand the reality. This is where we're at. That's what we got. So that's what we have. But again, credit to Man City. They came. This is what they did. They did a professional job. Came in, got their 3 points, and then they were out. That's basically what Man City did. Came in, got 3 points, kept it moving, and I predicted them to win the league. I expect to still see them winning the league. Um, I don't know if Arsenal have done enough to beat Man City for me. I don't think so, but we'll see. Um, if any of you guys want to, the link is in the chat. You have something you want to say? Come on, let me know. How did you feel about the game? What were you expecting before the game started? What do you think we can improve on? What do you think Maresca could do better to have us competed? That's my question. What do you think we could do that when we do, you know, kind of when we go forward, right? When we do move, what are we gonna do? What changes would you have made um, if you had the opportunity? Yeah. Let me see if we have any developments on the Felix situation. But yeah, guys, that was the player ratings. That was a match review. I think we definitely could have done a lot better. We didn't. Um, but again, it's my match day one. I'm not even gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose my head because it's too premature to do that. Um, we shall see what the weeks coming have to offer, and we will know. But if we had a player like a Holland, listen, this game would have ended a lot differently. Game definitely would have ended a lot differently. But there's so many like negative Chelsea fans who just like I understand you can't be overly positive because let's face it, we haven't really had much to hold on to, right? we can look back at some of these results we had last season. Yes, we drew with Man City twice, home and away. Okay. But we still didn't win these games. But the performances were good. Our performances last season, when it came to playing the big teams, for the most part, bar Liverpool, Arsenal, where we really got trashed, and even Manchester United at some point. Because when we went to Old Trafford last year, I think we lost like 4-3-1, or what was it, 2-1, 3-1? I can't remember. But last year we still, you know, we still couldn't beat Man City. So coming into this game, I was like, look, if we won, great. But it's the negativity is too much because it's like, you know what it is? Sometimes when you try to be like objective and you try to just keep it real, you have other people who are on the other side of like the spectrum, and they're just insensitively just talking so much negativity that you're forced to either have to be balanced, which means you then have to defend some of the things that are happening, because you can still criticize and be fairly objective, but some people just take it all the way to the left. Okay, where now even if I want to be objective and say, you know what, you're right, team building wasn't great, we don't need this profile, we don't need that profile, we don't need this, we don't need that. Now I'm gonna have to be like, you know what, yeah, we don't need this, but this is better than that. That's what we're starting to do now. And it's a shame that this is what it's come down to, but that's just the reality. People are just too negative. It's just calm down. It's like one game in, just take your time, you know. But again, next game, I don't want to see Sanchez and go. I don't look. I don't think Sanchez is going to take us anywhere fast. He scarred me enough for me to realize, yeah, he's one moment away from doing what he did against Arsenal again. So that'll be it. But I just want to see if we have any news, any developments. But yeah, nothing. So I think potentially by tomorrow we're probably going to hear that the Joao Felix signing has been completed, and that'll be it. And you know what's so sad though? Like Rodri didn't even play in this game. Kovacic was playing as the six, and we've seen Kovacic try to play that role for Chelsea. Kovacic is not a six. Okay, he's an eight. He's a he's a ball carrier. Like when it comes, like if you look at world football, there aren't that many players who can carry a ball more than Kovacic. Like he's one of those guys who just he doesn't give you too many other qualities. Like, you know, he doesn't give you that final ball. Defensively, he's not the strongest at it. But when it just comes to ball carrying, ball retention, Kovacic is one of the best in the world. Okay, but he was playing as a six today, and he was still comfortable. Culver was looking comfy, bro. Like no press on him. He had the time to do whatever he wanted. I mean, the goal he scored, that should have been somebody marking him, someone closing out. But they just backed off, backed off, backed off. And then he had the opportunity to just slap that in top bench. And then the game was done. But just imagine if Rodri was in this game. How worse would it have gotten for us, you know? So listen, we move, we learn. This is how look, if you want to be a big team, you're gonna have some of these performances where even though you looked good, you didn't do much. But we need to start doing much better. Okay, we need to do much better. But guys, this has been a match review. I'll see you guys in the next one. Listen, if you're this is your first time coming across my content, subscribe to the channel, like the video, support it. We want to see growth. Um, I'm on 64 subs right now. I definitely want to get it up to 70 and then 100 before match day 5. Okay, I want to see the subscribers go up. If you like the content, so, just sub to the channel, like it, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hopefully by then We do a lot better. We see what the team is going to be looking like. Are we going to get an Osimhen? Are we going to get a Felix? We'll know. But guys, until later, until next time, peace.